You hear a lot of people say this, and I totally agree with it. They say, fail fast, and it's so true. But it also ties into the procrastination conversation. What is procrastination? Procrastination is nothing more than the delay of the gifts that God is ready to present us with. And we're saying, no, we're not ready for those. How about tomorrow? Because when you're on your path, you're doing what you need to do, you tend to be in alignment and the gifts come abundantly. So that's why sometimes we say, hey, fail fast, because if you started the project last Monday, you would have found out that the piece that is missing takes a week to come in the mail, and now your whole project's been pushed back a week, you can't even start. But if you started on Monday, you knew, oh, I'm missing this piece, so it'll be here next Monday, and now you can begin working on your project. Fail fast ties into procrastination very quickly. Also, you have a lot of people that are afraid to fail. They're afraid to make mistakes. But you have to make mistakes. You have to fail. That's the only way you learn. That's the only way you gain experience. So I want people to fail. I want people to mess up. Don't be afraid of messing up. A lot of people want perfection straight out the gate. You know, you start a podcast or a show, and the first one, they want it to be perfect straight out the gate. That's not possible. Just go. Done is better than perfect. Fail fast. What's up, people? I am
that Hotep Jesus dude. That Hotep Jesus dude. That Hotep Jesus dude. That Hotep Jesus dude. That Hotep Jesus dude.
Welcome back. For my first time viewers, welcome. Buckle your boots, buckle your belt. Hit the subscribe button so you don't miss any more of these fantastic pro-Trump, pro-MAGA presentations. Oh yeah, I'm getting my griff ready. 2024 is going to be so beautiful. I'm getting my griff early. I'm waiting for Trump to officially announce that he's running so we can put the MAGA hat on. We're going to put out the new Hotep Nation MAGA hat. Oh yeah, I'm getting ready. I know some people are hopping off the Trump bandwagon. Some people are hopping DeSantis, and they're hopping third party, and they're hopping there, and they're hopping there. But I ain't hopping nowhere. I'm staying exactly where I was on the Trump team. Real niggas don't budge. First things first, shout out to our sponsor, Syscoin. I told you guys last week I was going to take a position on Syscoin. And I told you before that I was timing that position, and it seems like I got in at a really good time. We got in right before the pump, and the price has since leveled out a bit. So I'm going to take another position this week, and then continue some daily buys until the next pump, and then wait for a dip as things tend to trend. But the chart on that thing was looking really beautiful, especially its all-time chart. If you guys are not familiar with the Syscoin project, get familiar with the Syscoin project. Very brilliant people behind this. Awesome technology or a piece of cryptocurrency that actually has real use case scenarios. Unlike some of these other coins, people are pumping and dumping, rug pulling, etc., etc. Syscoin is not that. If it was, they would have pulled down a long time ago. But they haven't. This is not financial advice, but I want you guys to check out the Syscoin project. Shout out to Syscoin being a sponsor of the channel. We appreciate you. Without further ado, more MAGA wins. Let's hop directly into today's presentation and pull this up on your screen in just a moment so we can share in all the glory of another nothing burger. So this article here is from the New York Post. We got to bring some good bias media up here as we celebrate today's win. You know, I don't want to read anything from MSNBC or any one of these other outlets that are going to skew their opinions and just taint my happiness, my contentness, my felicidness for my Spanish-speaking viewers. It says here, Judge grants Trump. Oh, what is this pop-up? Leave me alone. Judge grants Trump's motion to appoint special master in Mar-a-Lago FBI raid. A federal judge on Monday granted former President Donald Trump's request to appoint a special master to review the troves of documents seized during the FBI's raid on Mar-a-Lago last month, saying some of the materials were medical or tax related. The decision by U.S. District Judge Aileen is a win for Trump and his legal team, and came despite objections from the Justice Department, which argued it had already completed a review of potentially privileged documents. In a ruling, Cannon agreed. Shout out to Canon Hotep, by the way. This person is not related to Canon Hotep in any shape, form, or fashion. In her ruling, Canon agreed to appoint a special master, an independent third party, to review the box loads of personal items, documents, and materials seized in the FBI's August 8th raid on Trump's home that may potentially be subject to claims of attorney-client and executive privilege. So these are sensitive documents that these people want to basically expose. So Cannon wrote in her ruling, in addition to being deprived of potentially significant personal documents, which alone creates a real harm, plaintiff faces an unquantifiable potential harm by way of improper disclosure of sensitive information to the public. Uh-oh. So you mean this FBI raid isn't completely on the up and up, huh? I'm going to talk about that in the conclusion. Let's continue reading this article, and then I'll dissect it later. Cannon, who was appointed by Trump in 2020, good job, Trump. You know what you were doing when you appointed this person, said in her order that some of the seized materials included medical documents, correspondence related to taxes, and accounting information. Obviously, this is stuff that a person would need, right? And there's the document here for ruling, about 24 pages. Which I have yet to review. The judge ordered the DOJ to stop reviewing and using the seized documents as part of its criminal investigation until the special master can complete a review. She will, however, allow U.S. intelligence officials to continue a classification review and national security risk assessment. So basically what they want is they want a third party. There should be some sort of third party who's non-biased to take a look at these documents and basically say what the FBI can and cannot look at. And also there's a potential that people have been exposed to materials that their eyes should not have set upon. And we'll see that later in this article. It says Cannon, who gave Trump's lawyer and the DOJ until Friday to file a proposed list of special master candidates, had previously signaled her inclination to authorize the request, asking a DOJ lawyer during arguments last week, ultimately, what is the harm of appointing a special master? Now, people like to call Trump a whole bunch of things, including sexist, but here he has actually appointed a woman to a high court position, which runs contrary to the narrative. The Justice Department had tried to argue the appointment would slow the pace of its probe into the presence of top secret information at Mar-a-Lago, and that its filter team, made up of agents not a part of the probe, had already completed its work. But Cannon cast doubt on the reliability of the investigative review process, noting in her Monday order that investigators appeared to have already been exposed to potentially privileged material. So if they had a review process, their review process must not have been done properly because some of these people who weren't supposed to be exposed to privileged material were. So FBI is already fumbling, according to Cannon. Without delving into specifics, the Privilege Review Team's report references at least 2 instances in which members of the investigative team were exposed to material that was then delivered to the Privilege Review Team and, following another review, designated as potentially privileged material. Like I said, people were looking at stuff they shouldn't have been looking at. Those instances alone, even if entirely inadvertent, yield questions about the adequacy of the filter review process. Where have we seen this before? Doesn't this smell like Comey and them? Meanwhile, federal prosecutors had also previously argued Trump couldn't claim executive privilege because the seized records belong to the government and not him. He is no longer president, Jay Bratt said, the department's top counterintelligence lawyer, in a September 1 hearing. And because he is no longer president, he did not have the right to take those documents. But Trump's team of lawyers said their push to have special master appointed was not akin to a national security scandal, saying it was an overdue library book scenario. I love that that metaphor there, that comparison. His lawyers accused a politicized DOJ, which I could not argue, they definitely feel politicized, of trying to thwart their efforts to have the special master installed so that federal investigators could just go unchecked, unobserved, unmonitored. The latest decision came after Cannon last week approved the unsealing of more detailed inventory list of items seized during the August 8th search of Trump's home, which included a number of classified documents and dozens of folders marked classified that were empty. The rundown of documents showed that federal agents also took innocuous items, including the former president's clothing magazine and newspaper clippings that he kept. In total, 11,179 government documents and photographs seized by the FBI bore no classification markings at all. By contrast, 54 documents were marked secret and another 18 were top secret. The Justice Department has alleged in previous court filings that sensitive government documents were hidden in and removed from Mar-a-Lago storage room, and that the FBI was misled about the continued presence of classified documents there. Prosecutors argued that Trump's records custodian falsely certified in June that a diligent search had been conducted and all government records had been returned to the government in the prior months to the raid. Trump issued a statement Monday in the wake of the judge's ruling, saying it takes courage and guts to fight a totally corrupt Department of Justice in the FBI. They are being pushed to do the wrong thing by many sinister outside sources. He continued, until impartiality, wisdom, fairness, and courage are shown by them, our country can never come back or recover. It will be reduced to being a third world nation. During a rally in the battleground state of Pennsylvania on Saturday, keep in mind that that's what communists specialize in, is taking a perfectly functioning system that might not be running the best it can, but it's, people aren't starving too much, people are getting by, and then they just turn into a third world nation where famine just wreaks havoc. During a rally in the battleground state of Pennsylvania on Saturday, Trump had slammed the Justice Department and FBI's vicious monsters. The shameful raid and break-in of my home at Mar-a-Lago was a travesty of justice that made a mockery of America's laws, traditions, and principles before the entire world, Trump told supporters during a nearly 2-hour speech. The FBI and the Justice Department have become vicious monsters controlled by radical leftist scoundrels, lawyers, and the media who tell them what to do. You people right there, and when to do it, he continued while pointing to a media box. Oof. Unfortunately, I was not able to attend this PA rally. I would like to attend a Trump rally this year. That's or sometime soon as it comes close to me. That is something I would love to do. Also, let's take a look at a comparison here of the people that showed up for a Trump speech versus people who showed up for a Biden speech. Give me a second to pull it up here. Here we go, right here. All right, so I'm going to put this on your screen. This is from a tweet from Benny Johnson. And this is Trump. You can see here. It's like a high school stadium here. I wouldn't say college. College stadiums are humongous. I think some of those stadiums fit like over 100,000 people or something like that. So this is Trump, and you see the stands are filled. And then we come over to Biden, and Biden can't even fill a basketball court. He can barely fill these seats. It's quite quiet and dreary in here. Nobody's excited. And how many people were paid to come? How many people are organizations and special invites compared to Trump's organicness? So you can believe what you want to believe, about the elections, I know what I'm going to believe. So let's get to the conclusion, and I'll read the super chats. If there are any super chats, you go ahead, take that moment to super chat. I will read your super chat, answer your questions, or reply to your comments. Let's pull up. Okay, so what is going on with this investigation by the DOJ and arraigned by the FBI? Well, really what we're talking about here is they want to find people guilty in the court of public opinion. You don't exactly have to be convicted of anything in order for the left to be effective. You only need to be, you don't have to be found guilty. As long as they can convict you of something, accuse you of something, it's going to stick, right? Here's the thing, the public isn't exactly educated. They don't really care, especially the left. They don't really care about the facts. They don't really care about the details of these things. Even if you gave them the details, they wouldn't understand the details. But bottom line is, as long as you can accuse somebody of it, then they're technically guilty, and they're gonna use that, right? They're gonna use that. I hate when the camera does that. Okay, I'm sorry. So yeah, as long as they can accuse you of it, then they can use you. They can use these details later on, especially during election season, because they know the public, it doesn't really follow things all the way through, details, etc., etc. So they just blame you of something, and then to the public, it's like, oh, he did that, right? Like when we talk about the elections and Russia collusion, right? To the the majority of the public, they believe that, even though there's no proof. Impeachment 1.0, impeachment 2.0. When he went through those proceedings, people still, obviously he was impeached, but it means nothing. He was impeached by the House, and the Senate did not find the same. And people thought that people thought that meant he was no longer going to be a president, and that just wasn't the case. He was impeached, and he was still president, and things moved along. The public is pretty stupid. And that's what they're preying on. They're preying on the stupidity and the ignorance of the public, the fact that the public is uninformed. That's the same thing that goes along with Biden's speech, right? Like Biden made all these accusations of people being, what do you say? It's mainstream Republicans versus MAGA Republicans, and MAGA Republicans are extremists. But he gave no examples. He could give no examples. Meanwhile, when I played back his speech and I showed the examples of how the left was guilty of everything he was accusing the right of, we had real evidence. They have no real evidence. The only thing they'll show you is, the Fed raid called January 6th, and all the informants that were involved in that debacle. But they actually have, he didn't even specify like why these people are extremists, how they're extremists. All he did was say, oh, democracy is in danger, democracy is in danger, democracy, democracy, democracy. That's all he could come up with. Oh, my poor democracy. Well, he didn't exactly have any evidence to support his claim, and they don't need any. They just need to accuse you of it. Look, he's a thief. Look, he's this. Look, he's that. And most people are just going to run with it. They're not going to ask for more information because, well, people just aren't built like that. They aren't taught to question things, especially when you look at our public education system. Kids just aren't taught to question anything. They're taught to accept whatever the authority says. In this case, the authority being Biden and the media, et cetera, et cetera. But what this really shows is how afraid the Swamp Thing is of a return of MAGA. They are very afraid. I think they know the strength, especially when you see how many Republicans were unseated running up in the primaries. And you see the amount of people that were losing and the Trump-backed candidates were winning. So they're afraid. They're like, oh, my God, not only are establishment Democrats at risk of losing their roles in Congress, but establishment Republicans as well, because we know behind doors these people are pretty much one and the same. So like, oh, no, you're going to bring in organic and real people into Congress? So they're afraid. So they're pulling out all the stops. They're raiding his house. Biden's got to give this impromptu speech that is basically just a mechanism of divisiveness to divide this country even more, vilify anybody who doesn't go along with their mass formation psychosis that orange man is bad, and run with it. But they are afraid. They know they're losing control. So this is good news. When you see this happen, this is good news. This is another win. This is great news. It means that we are making headway. When they have to, go low and try all their little dirty tactics, they're afraid. They are absolutely afraid. And I see somebody tweet this. I forget who it was. I want to say it was Drelly, but they said, we're not expecting a red wave. What we are expecting is a MAGA wave. And those two things are completely different. I thought that was a really interesting comment. David Ziandara, thank you. He said he sent me $5 a super chat. I appreciate you, bro. Thank you very much. Happy Labor Day, folks. It's been a wonderful time talking to you. These wins for MAGA are stacking up. They're going to keep stacking up. And I'm going to report on every single win as it happens daily, all the way through the 2024 elections. And I can't wait for Trump to announce his return to the race. They're trying to stop it. I don't think they'll be able to stop it. And at the very least, we have DeSantis as a backup. But I can't wait to see the Trump-DeSantis ticket be announced. And then we're going all in. And we're pushing to make sure that we get some wins going into the next election. My name is Hotep Jesus, and it's been an absolute pleasure speaking to you. Until the next time, Hotep and build.